Sawyer and Dr. Phil and a Star's Wedding, next 18.
Casualties on the home war front. 2 postal workers are dead. U.S. officials say anthrax almost certainly the cause. Did more tainted letters enter the postal system? The U.S. commando raid, what it was, and a frontline exclusive report on the Allied air attack that apparently hit the wrong side. A warning about the risks of fighting a ground war in Afghanistan. And the military casualty count begins in the war against terror.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. The number of deaths in America from inhaled anthrax has most likely risen to 3. Besides the previously known death of a Florida newspaper employee, U.S. health officials now say all signs indicate 2 Washington, D.C. area postal workers have died of the disease. Both worked at a postal facility that services Capitol Hill. And there are questions now about whether the government has in fact moved wisely, aggressively, and quickly to protect postal workers and the public from anthrax assassination attempts. CBS's Bob Schieffer begins our coverage. Bob?
Well, Dan, the news here just seems to get worse as you report 2 workers at the postal facility that receives congressional mail have died. 2 others there have confirmed inhalation anthrax, and 9 others at that facility are suspected of having it. At the White House, the new director of Homeland Security said anthrax almost certainly caused the deaths.
It is very clear that their symptoms are suspicious, and their deaths are likely due to anthrax.
The postal facility was closed, and thousands of workers are being bused to hospitals for testing. Their moods range from worried to angry.
I think we should have got tested last week, just right along with the folks up on the Hill.
We've been given rubber gloves, we've been given masks, and we've been instructed to be extra careful.
Several dozen congressional staffers being treated for the anthrax exposure that occurred when the substance was found in a letter sent to Senator Daschle's office are doing well. But the anthrax inhaled by the postal workers was apparently more concentrated and deadly.
This is a different day. We have multiple postal workers where we have suspicions and 2 confirmed cases of inhalation anthrax. This is a different day.
The postal workers came from this facility where experts say high-speed mail sorting machines could put them at greater risk than those who receive anthrax in the mail.
So if there's a tear in the envelope, or if the system itself is tearing the envelope, that material, that powder is being generated, is generating a small particle aerosol.
Technicians are still testing congressional offices for anthrax after a trace was discovered this weekend in a 3rd congressional building. Those buildings and other congressional offices remain closed, but the Capitol itself is open. Congressional leaders had hoped to open those offices tomorrow, but tonight they were told testing is still going on. It won't be possible. It may be weeks before some of the buildings open. Congress is going to get some temporary space at the General Accounting Office, but in any case, the Congress will officially convene tomorrow. Dan?
Bob Schieffer reporting live from Capitol Hill. U.S. postal officials vowed today the mail will go through, and they announced new steps to protect postal workers and the public. CBS's John Roberts has late details on what is and is not being done. John?
Dan, the presidentially appointed Postal Board of Governors today voted to spend up to $1 billion to institute new safety procedures at mail sorting facilities. But until new machines can be brought in to effectively neutralize the bioterrorism threat, those procedures will be decidedly low-tech.
The immediate line of defense will be increased vigilance. Every postal worker will become another pair of eyes looking for anything suspicious. Maintenance procedures will be changed. The use of compressed air to clean machines will be stopped immediately.
The Postal Service has used a system where we blow out dust from our machines, so we are revising those procedures as we speak.
Authorities will also pay particularly close attention to any medical problems among postal workers to identify patterns of infection and potential hot zones in postal facilities. And officials are actively looking into new ways to sanitize the mail exploring ultraviolet and cobalt radiation. But much of that technology is cumbersome and may require shipping letters and packages to special facilities as an interim delivery step.
With 680 million pieces of mail flowing through 350 sorting facilities every day, ensuring the safety of postal workers will be an enormous task. So immediately, the Postal Service will focus new technologies on facilities it feels face the greatest threat. Dan?
Live at the White House, John Roberts. And then there are the questions about the so far unsuccessful investigation into where all this anthrax is coming from and who may be responsible for the attacks. For the latest on that tonight, we take you to correspondent Jim Stewart in our CBS News Washington Bureau. Jim?
Dan, federal investigators don't know yet how the additional Washington postal workers were infected, but they are leaning toward the theory that perhaps another yet undiscovered anthrax letter may have made its way through the main postal sorting facility where thousands of undelivered letters are now being carefully examined. Thus far, just 3 confirmed anthrax letters have been recovered, 1 to Senator Tom Daschle in Washington, and 2 to New York, 1 to NBC anchor Tom Brokaw, the other to the New York Post. The source of skin anthrax cases discovered at CBS and ABC headquarters in New York are presumed to have been contaminated letters that were discarded. And still, U.S. officials say there is a high probability that just one individual is behind the whole thing. Why? Because a strain of anthrax common to the United States was in all the letters, because all came in the same boxy type printing, and all were mailed from Trenton, New Jersey. And just to make sure that none of the 19 dead hijackers involved in the September the 11th attacks was involved, FBI agents have re-examined all of their personal items and residences and still cannot find even the hint of a trace of anthrax. And there's still no sign either of any missing anthrax at laboratories and universities in the United States, and no reports thus far of any missing overseas. It all keeps leading back to the same conclusion. Someone with skill in this country is behind the attacks. But who is still a mystery. Dan?
In Washington, Jim Stewart. It cannot be emphasized often enough. Anthrax is not contagious. Skin anthrax is plenty dangerous, but most dangerous, the quickest, is inhaled anthrax. Both can be, and in most cases are, successfully treated when diagnosed early. On the military front of the war on terror, U.S. combat aircraft pounded Taliban targets in Afghanistan for a 16th day. And CBS News national security correspondent David Martin reports military analysts examined the results of Friday's 2-pronged raid by U.S. Army Rangers.
U.S. officials say leaders of the Taliban appear stunned by the ease with which American commandos were able to operate inside Afghanistan. As these pictures were being transmitted live back to the Pentagon, Special Operations Forces parachuted onto an airfield outside the Taliban stronghold of Kandahar. Another commando team hit the bunker of the supreme leader of the Taliban, Mullah Omar, although neither he nor anybody else worth capturing was there.
We did not take any prisoners or bring out any detainees for interrogation.
The commandos took away documents that will now be analyzed for intelligence that can be used on future raids. Today, the Taliban displayed the remains of a helicopter they claim to have shot down. It clearly is part of an American-made helicopter, but Defense Secretary Rumsfeld flatly denied any shoot-down.
The Taliban have said they have shot down at least 2 helicopters, which is false. They have not.
Rebel soldiers fighting the Taliban are now being aided both by American Special Forces troops working with them on the ground and by U.S. warplanes striking the Taliban front lines. The American jets are picking off individual tanks and dropping cluster bombs designed to wipe out as many troops as possible. Many of the strikes are just north of Kabul and outside a key airfield at Mazar-e-Sharif, which the rebels need to take before winter sets in. But their progress is slow.
We think they're outnumbered for one reason, so that impacts how fast they can move.
Winter comes early to the mountains and will bring ground combat to a standstill. But that, of course, would not stop airstrikes.
The Muslim holy month of Ramadan also starts in November, but Secretary Rumsfeld has all but ruled out any chance that will force the U.S. to suspend its assault on the Taliban. Dan?
David Martin's live report from the Pentagon. The recent expansion of the U.S.-led air campaign in Afghanistan to include attacks on Taliban troop concentrations in the field was welcomed by fighters of the anti-Taliban United Front. But as CBS's Jim Axelrod reports from the front lines north of Kabul, in war, there is no escaping the risk of hitting the wrong target.
The American fighter jets were plain as day in the afternoon sky, repeatedly diving and hitting Taliban targets on the front line near the Bagram Air Base, a prized position of enormous strategic importance that both the Taliban and the United Front want to control. We were on the front line watching with a group of United Front Mujahideen who were celebrating the hits on their enemy when all of a sudden the cheering stopped.
Oh, that's ours. That's our front line.
The commander said 2 United Front positions were hit in an area where United Front forts and Taliban forts are less than a quarter-mile away from each other. It's so close.
This is not ours, yes.
Yours and theirs,
yeah,
so close.
So close, yeah. This side of the road is Taliban, this side ours.
While more planes flew, the commander tried to make radio contact with the United Front Mujahideen in those mud forts.
Musafir Tawheed.
He never got through. Tonight, there is still no word on casualties.
They hit your positions.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Okay. They should take care about it.
They should be more careful?
Yeah, they should be more careful about our position.
The commander told us that United Front troops supplied a list of targets to the Air Force for attacks in the area. If it turns out the wrong bases were hit, then today's events underscore the risks if the United States doesn't have its own personnel on the ground here to coordinate airstrikes. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, Jabal Sarraj, Afghanistan.
As the fighting goes on, the tide of Afghan refugees is rising along the border with Pakistan. After allowing many to cross in recent days, the Pakistani government today moved to stop the flow. This followed an incident yesterday that began with refugees pelting Pakistani guards with stones and ended with a cross-border stampede. Next here on the CBS Evening News, Eye on America. Special ops, special grief. Home bases for elite commandos mourn 2 who died far from home.
When that pastrami on rye catches up with me, heartburn big time. My passenger says, here, take a Zantac 75. I say, what are you, a doctor? And he says, yeah.
Zantac 75, the heartburn relief doctors trust.
Pepperidge Farm Texas Toast.
Okay, I'll get the pasta bowl.
Hot, crusty garlic toast. Just 5 minutes to make. It's probably ready before you are. Pepperidge Farm. Never have an ordinary day.
It was my grandson's birthday. He just turned 3. We're going to move him out of his crib and buy him a big boy bed. I was on chemo then, and I was exhausted. I said to the doctor, I need help. I'm on a mission.
If you're a chemotherapy patient and feel tired and weak, you may be anemic. Ask your doctor about Procrit. Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy. And more red blood cells can mean more strength.
Oh, this is a great one. This is a good one.
Procrit is proven and safe. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers.
How do you like it up here now?
Good.
Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need.
See? What'd I tell you?
Your strength for living.
He takes a lot of energy, but I never get tired of him.
Just when it seems like life couldn't get any better, your whole world can turn upside down. But if you're a Farmers Insurance customer, you can call our new Help Point service the moment it happens. We can answer the questions you can't. Farmers Help Point is here to care and really take care when you need it most. Farmers, get you back where you belong.
This weekend, Enterprise Rent-A-Car announces special low rates from just $9.99 a day. Friday till Monday from just $9.99 a day. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
1-800-RENT-A-CAR.
I prefer using natural ingredients. That's why I take Beano. Beano helps prevent gas from problem foods with a natural food enzyme. It's not a drug. So if you prefer a more natural approach, prevent gas with Beano.
Tonight's Eye on America takes you to the homes and heart of what the military calls special operations, America's elite military commandos in harm's way in and around Afghanistan. Two of their number, two of America's best, have already made the ultimate sacrifice. CBS's Mark Strassman reports their deaths hit hard and hit home at the military bases where everyone knows the risks.
Their motto is Rangers Lead the Way. Elite Army commandos trained for airborne raids and lightning strikes. But at Fort Benning, Georgia, home of the 75th Ranger Regiment, today what was sudden was the sense of grief.
The loss of Rangers deeply saddened all of us.
Over the weekend, two Rangers who trained at Fort Benning, Specialist John Edmonds and Private Christopher Stonecipher, were killed in Pakistan. They were riding on a Black Hawk helicopter that crash-landed trying to support a weekend commando raid. Today in Wyoming, Edmonds' family was grieving too.
You do not expect to have to wait on your son to come home from overseas so that you can bury him.
Rangers typically train 48 weeks a year for the sort of raid they executed on Saturday in southern Afghanistan, often supported by units of Army Special Forces. Over the weekend, they sent a message to the Taliban in copies of photos they left behind, showing New York City firefighters and a caption that read, "Freedom endures." And the raid itself sent a more menacing message.
It's that we can strike at will.
Mark Boyat, a retired Special Forces commander, says the Taliban can expect more of the same.
Every time they turn around, if they take their eyes off of their backside, in come the lightning raids. Their whole decision cycle is broken. They're in a total react rather than be proactive mode, and I think that's exactly where they are now.
To the Pentagon, using small units for these hit-and-run raids will also help keep U.S. casualties low. But as the weekend's helicopter crash proved, even for elite troops, commando action involves high risk. For Eye on America, I'm Mark Strassman at Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
The U.S. ambassador to Israel today delivered a demand that the Israeli government withdraw its forces from Palestinian-controlled parts of the West Bank. There was fighting there all weekend. The Israelis say their tanks will stay until Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat delivers those responsible for last week's assassination of an Israeli cabinet minister. In contrast to the Middle East, there was some new hope today for the shaky peace process in Northern Ireland. That would be thanks to Gerry Adams, the political leader who supports the aims of the Irish Republican Army. For the first time, Adams publicly urged the IRA to begin disarming as required by the 3-year-old peace deal. A supersonic Concorde jet flew from London to New York today with 100 British Airways employees on board. It was the first such flight since an Air France Concorde crash near Paris last year killed 113 people. Regular Concorde service is set to resume early next month. Next here on CBS, the fierce fighters of Afghanistan. A former commando who knows them well has a warning for the American public and U.S. troops.
It seems like only yesterday. When I started skating at 8 years old, I never thought I'd experience the thrill of winning a medal. With all the great memories has come another thing I thought I'd never experience, the pain of osteoarthritis.
Vioxx is here, a prescription medicine for osteoarthritis pain. With one little pill a day, Vioxx can provide powerful 24-hour relief. Vioxx specifically targets only the COX-2 enzyme, a key source of arthritis pain. People with allergic reactions, such as asthma, to aspirin or other arthritis medicines should not take Vioxx. In rare cases, serious stomach problems, such as bleeding, can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. For more information, talk to your doctor about once daily Vioxx for the relief of osteoarthritis pain.
Perhaps my biggest victory is to be able to plan my day around my life instead of my pain.
Ask your doctor if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx, for everyday victories.
Mom, how many Tums did you take right in front of the wedding planner? You snuck one, too. It was a Pepsid Complete. It's not the same as Pepsid AC? No, there's nothing else like Pepsid Complete. It works fast like Tums, but it lasts for hours like Pepsid AC. So your heartburn goes away and then stays away. Chewable? Calcium? I gotta try this.
Decision?
Tony, fabulous.
Pepsid Complete. Just one, and heartburn's done. Have you tried the anchovy cookies?
Oh, Yeah.
And the jalapeno dip.
I feel like it's crazy here. My family always eats in shifts.
There's the twins first, home from school, then there's soccer practice. My daughter, Doreen, she's off to work. Then my husband comes home. He's always late. Thank goodness I found this new kind of dinner roll from Pillsbury.
From the freezer.
I just take out what I need, 2 or 10, throw them in the oven, and bake them up in minutes. It's perfect because I have everything ready whenever they decide to show up. Authentic home-baked classics.
In the freezer.
I don't know what I'd do without them.
It's a different kind of Fix-It-Ent with no artificial flavors or colors. It's Fix-It-Ent free. Fix-It-Ent holds stronger, holds longer than any other free adhesive. Fix-It-Ent and forget it with Fix-It-Ent free.
I quit.
I quit.
It's time to quit. Quit the cycle of irregularity with Metamucil Daily Fiber Therapy.
I quit for good. And you can, too.
Metamucil Daily Fiber Therapy. Get regular, stay regular.
The Army Rangers who raided southern Afghanistan on Friday encountered only what the Pentagon calls light resistance. But sooner or later, U.S. ground troops may have to take on the Taliban in all-out combat. CBS's Jim Axelrod tracked down a man who knows firsthand just what those Americans would be facing.
As the United States considers its next move in the war against the Taliban, American commanders might consider the warnings of a man who calls himself Tom Carew.
It's a different ball game. You're going to find it hard to tie them down. You're just going to be stonewalled all the time.
That's him with his face blacked out, a former member of the SAS, Great Britain Special Forces. Is that you?
Yeah, it's me driving here.
He spent 2 years in the early 80s training Afghan rebels to fight the Soviet Union. It's tough land?
Yeah, very tough. It's hard, it's dry, it's arid, and yeah, you never know where they're going to pop up from, you know?
Which is why this veteran of war in Afghanistan believes U.S. troops cannot act conventionally. It's a job for special forces requiring the support of the anti-Taliban United Front. Global superpower is worthless without a little local knowledge.
It's not just a little mountain range, it's like thousands of square kilometers of it. It's full of holes in the ground where they have ammunition buried for emergencies. There are caves everywhere. You're going to get bogged down and you'll never contain the enemy. Gone and they're back behind you.
Asked if there's anything more brutal than the Afghan landscape, Carew says absolutely. The mindset of an Afghan warrior. It's a chilling picture he paints of the troops Americans might encounter. Forget the Geneva Convention. These are guerrillas who truly take no prisoners.
When you're captured, you are going to be mutilated. It's the way it is. It's the way it is. Just the way...
Arms, legs, cut off?
Well, not so much cut off, they just open you up. They all have these knives and they will just open you up.
The lucky ones, says Carew, are the ones who die quickly. What kind of opponents would they make?
Phew, they're deadly. I mean, they're really deadly. I think it's probably the worst enemy you'll ever come across. They are really ferocious.
This warning from a soldier who's seen guerrillas in a dozen countries, yet remains most haunted by those he fought with in Afghanistan. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, Jabal Sarraj, Afghanistan.
The U.S. Senate has already said yes. Now the House is getting ready to approve the first U.S. war bonds since World War II. The money could be used for any government expenditures. While acknowledging the patriotic intent of these bonds, the Treasury Department insists Americans would give the country a bigger boost by simply spending money to help the economy. The U.S. International Trade Commission ruled today that the American steel industry has been hurt significantly by cheap imported steel. This could lead to new U.S. tariffs on the imports. A new sign of continuing hard times for the U.S. economy, the index of leading indicators fell in September for the second straight month. Wall Street shrugged that off. Stocks closed higher today, including a triple-digit gain for the Dow.
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but it comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may know about the burning pain of acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
But today, there's a purple pill called Nexium. It's from the makers of Prilosec. Just one prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And importantly, Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with today's purple pill called Nexium.
You're short of breath. There's pain in your chest. You may be having a heart attack. Now what do? Call an ambulance? Good. And take Bear Aspirin. It's now been proven that aspirin can do more than help prevent second heart attacks. Now Bear may actually help stop you from dying if you take it during a heart attack. Talk to your doctor now. Do you know where your Bear is? Bear. Take it for pain. Take it for life.
Imagine combining the stain-fighting power of Efferdent and freshening power of Listerine. You'd get Efferdent Plus. It's extra fresh, and nothing gets your dentures cleaner. Efferdent Clean, Listerine Fresh. That's Efferdent Plus.
I ate Quaker oatmeal for 30 days. It actually works to remove cholesterol from your body. Knocks it right out. Helped me drop 13 points. That's quite a break. Quaker oatmeal warms you heart and soul.
Tens of thousands of people continue to purchase new Oldsmobiles, like the completely redesigned 2002 Bravada. Are they impressed with its best-in-class 270 horsepower engine? Are they impressed with its 5-year, 60,000-mile GM protection plan? Or are they simply impressed? Are you in the market? Get in an Oldsmobile, backed by GM. Right now, get interest-free financing on all new Oldsmobiles. Let's help keep America rolling.
Portland city workers walk off the job, but only for 45 minutes. Is it the wrong strike at the wrong time? Point 6 News at 6.
We close tonight with a few words about men and women ready to give their lives to protect their fellow Americans, and some who did. A new class of more than 300 probationary New York firefighters was sworn in today by Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Just think of why people respect you so much. Because you're willing to do something that most other people just wouldn't even consider doing.
343 firefighters died doing what most other people wouldn't consider doing, racing into the burning World Trade Towers. In the smoldering rubble of the towers today, another victim recovered. Rescue workers paused and stood at attention, forming an honor line, saluting the flag-draped body as a procession carried it away. Confirmed death toll now, 473. More than 4,400 still missing. At Arlington Cemetery, the first casualty of America's war on terror was laid to rest. Air Force Sergeant Evander Andrews of Solon, Maine, killed in a forklift accident on the Arabian Peninsula. Andrews loved farming and trucks and cooking. They say he made the best pecan pie in town. Before he left for the war, Andrews told his wife and 4 children, "I'll come home." But he added, "God's in control." Lest we forget. And that's part of our world tonight. Dan Rather reporting for the CBS Evening News. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Keeping America safe. The cost of